It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Tuesday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, what is today? Today's the 30th day of April 2024. Coming to you from in the studio in Forest, Virginia. I arrived home about an hour ago. So to bring you up to date, guys, before we get down to everything, I drove as long as I could yesterday, and I got to Thomasville, North Carolina, and my body said, "You're done." and I mean, I was done. So I stopped at a microtel there in Thomasville, and I tried to get a little work done. I just couldn't even do that. I just crashed. So then I got up early this morning. It was only a couple hours, 2.5 hours, and drove in. I got here, like I say, I don't know, 9 o'clock, a little after 9 o'clock. So anyway, I would like to chat a bit about the Carnival elation. Some of you that did follow me during the week have gotten bits and pieces of this. But despite the problems that we had from the azipods, actually the computer that operates the azipods, and losing a port, everything was delayed from the start, 3 hours late starting the cruise. Literally embarkation, they moved the appointments back 3 hours. We did not make it into Freeport. We sailed back at between 10 and 13 knots all the way back to Jacksonville. Got in Jacksonville on time. That was standing. I got to say about the Carnival elation. Now, remember, folks, this was an older ship. And remember, I was going into this, especially after the 3-hour delay, thinking this was going to be awful. Embarkation. I got to Jacksonville. I delayed, getting there as they asked, but I still got there about maybe 1:30. I dropped off my luggage. I had to loop around to go into the parking lot, which took about 2 minutes. I stopped at the gate going through and had to, fill out the paperwork for the free parking. And because I'm carrying a wheelchair in Florida, I can park at all the ports for free. So the gal came out and did the little, get my license plate and signed the paperwork. So that took maybe 5 minutes, right? So I drive from there, from the gate, down the second row of handicap parking. So I'm the second row from the ship, and like the third parking space in. So I'm literally right there. I unloaded the chair, locked up the car, got in the chair, rolled around. You had to go actually away from the ship for about, 30, 40 feet to cross over the street. And then there's a long line of people going into the check-in. So I got at the end of the line, and I wasn't in the line more than 15 seconds. And one of the staff members walked up to me and says, "Hi, are you traveling alone?" And I said, "Yes, I'm solo." She said, "Well, follow me." I said, "Okay." So I followed her. She took me down another corridor, not the same one where all the other guests were standing waiting to get inside. Took me down another corridor completely, through another door, and straight up to the first check-in. I did that. I went to security. I had to wait for one person in front of me. I took my little bag off the side of the chair, gave him my wallet. I went through security, and of course, I have to be patted down because I'm, in the chair and everything. So we did all that. I got my stuff back. I rolled right around to the check desk, and I didn't have to wait at all there. Now it's crowded in this place, and every desk is open. I mean, it got somebody there. I mean, everybody's working, so I didn't have to wait at all. I finished that. You pick up your card at at the room. So, so I turned around to head back to get in line to go on board the ship. And I mean, there's thousands of people sitting and they're taking rows of people. And so I'm trying to get around to go find a place to park it, right? And the attendant there says, "Excuse me, sir, just wait 1 second." He said, "As soon as the end of this row goes, you follow them on board." From the time I pulled into, um, where was I? And from the time I pulled in to drop off my luggage, of course, in Jacksonville, to the time I boarded the ship was like 13 minutes. I couldn't believe it. And I was expecting it to be awful. They did a marvelous job. I didn't hear any complaining, even the normal folk that have to stand in line and stuff. It was moving extraordinarily well. Um, you know, the ship itself was extremely well laid out for accessibility issues. There are no problems at all. My cabin, the coming in from the outside, it was a key activated. You drop your key in a slot, and that not only unlocked the door, opened the door. So it was an automatic door. I had an automatic door to the bathroom. I had a push button to leave to open the door to go back out out the cabin. The one thing I asked my attendant to do was if he could, they have the devil strip beside the bed against the wall. Yes, so somebody can walk in there to get in bed. And I said, I'm not going to use that side of the bed. Could you slide it against the wall so I get that extra, foot or so of space would make a lot easier on me in the chair. He did that, and I had a little bit extra space. The crew, all the way to the whole cruise, were very attentive, very helpful, um, very well done. So, disembarkation, I went down about 7:30. I knew my number was going to be called, but didn't want to be stuck waiting for elevators. So I went down just to hang out with the wheelchair guys, the wheelchair people. And as soon as they had the luggage ready, one of the wheelchair guys is pushing the first guy off, and he said, "Just follow me." I said, "Okay." So I followed him. I went down to luggage. I'm the first one in my number of luggage. I went straight to both of my suitcases. The porter grabbed both of them, and we go through, the screening and all that business, which they use facial recognition there. So it's nothing to get back off out of the terminal. Went over to it's a 3 or 4 minute walk to the car. I was loaded up. The guy put the luggage in the car for me. I loaded up my wheelchair, strapped it down, got ready for roll, got in the car, started the car, and I was moving by like 20 after 8. So, and I wasn't even supposed to leave the ship until 8:30 or later. It was just well done. So a lot of things I liked about the cruise. And I was sad that we had to deal with the issue. The other thing, I was not particularly fond of the food. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything historical. It wasn't anything fabulous. The prime rib was tasty. It was a little tough. I had a steak that was awfully tough. A chicken parm one night that was really good. I had the last night I had penne pasta seafood that was excellent. So that was fine. The buffet breakfasts were buffet breakfast. They were fine. I got to have a Benedict every day. I went to the guy's burger joint once. I did the pizza once. Pizza was really good. I did. What else? What did I do? Oh, I had a second breakfast one day for lunch. So the bar people were extremely attentive, took care of me. They all knew within hours that I had Pepsi. It's a Pepsi cruise, not a Coke cruise. And I paid for a couple of drinks. I had $100. No, I had $200 credit on my account, so I had money to spend. And then when we canceled the port, they gave us another $100 plus the taxes and port charges. So I actually ended up at the end of the cruise with them owing me $8. So anyway, it wasn't bad. I didn't spend a lot of money on it. I had a good time. Sorry, it was, a little off with the Azipod things. Oh no, it was nice. So I'm glad to be home. I'm tired. Always at the end of a cruise, no matter how long they are, I feel the same way, especially if I've driven. So I'm gonna not do a whole lot of work today, and maybe by the time I'll get back to normal. So I see we got a bunch of people in the chat room. I'll get over there in a bit. All right, so on with the business of the day. The lead story today is a cruise passenger arrested in Grand Turk. The Norwegian gem changes itineraries. That's mine. My Norwegian gem. We do have breaking news this morning. Radiance to sail on May 3rd, and that literally, as of the story I wrote last night, Radiance was going up until the 2nd of May. So they announced this morning that it is going to sail on the 3rd. Carnival crew member was airlifted off of AIDA to broadcast games. We've got lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. I will be covering all of it here shortly. Today is National Oatmeal Cookie Day. I'll eat an oatmeal cookie. I prefer chocolate chip. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast by my blog, which is access.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. On the big guys, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iHeart Radio, any of them. Tune in, Spotify, and anytime you're listening to the podcast, if you ever want to jump up, you can do just that. All right, before we get to the news this morning, I do have a couple things to share with you. One, and I'm not sure how the volume is on this, so you might have to strain a little, But this is Pittsburgh Jason's Jennifer.
New buildings after an empire has collapsed, like the Roman Empire. The other thing that's interesting is each of these columns is like its own little wheel of stone. So it's a whole bunch of small stone wheels on top of each other to form a column. In the middle of that would have been a rod of metal. And normally the columns get knocked over so the metal can be basically melted back down and used for weapons.
Hi, Jennifer. It's got so much knowledge. I don't know if you could hear any of that or not, but because it was a little, so she's soft spoken to start with. But everywhere they go, she gives Jason the lecture on wherever they are. It's really great. So, and then my buddy Rochelle, man, has she been able to do some traveling? She's actually in Sri Lanka now. And I posted some pictures from Sri Lanka. She's doing a segment of the World Cruise. So that's pretty awesome. All right, so I'll be back with our news stories today, folks, after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, so let's start off with the gym. Guests including Suzanne Rager, Mary Ellen Haddock, Hot Air Tom, and me were notified of the following itinerary changes for our September 6 Norwegian gym sailing from Boston to Quebec. Sail away was changed from 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's not affecting Hot Air Tom and I because we're getting in 3 days early anyway. But some people that travel in on the day of the cruise, that could be a problematic for them. On Sunday, instead of being in Halifax from 9 to 6, we'll be there from 10:30 to 7:30. Monday Sydney call was scheduled from 9 to 6. It's now 10:30 to 5:30. Tuesday Charlottetown visit was 9 to 6. It's now 8:30 to 5:30. No reasons were given for this other than fuel optimization. I hate when they say that. Fuel optimization. So, all right. A Virginia resident of all things, not related to Hot Air Tom or me. I'll say that much. But anyway, Virginia resident, 31-year-old Tyler Wenrich, was arrested on charges of possession of ammunition while going through a security checkpoint during a visit to Grand Turk. He was visiting the island during a Royal Caribbean cruise. The country has strict firearms and ammunition rules, which could lead to a 12-year prison sentence. Wenrich claimed that the ammunition was in his luggage from a previous trip, and he was unaware that the items were still in his bags. Mr. Wenrich appeared before a Grand Turk magistrate and was remanded into custody at the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation pending a June 7th sufficiency hearing. Based on reports, Mr. Wenrich traveled to Grand Turk for the first time. Although official reports do not state the cruise ship Wenrich was sailing on, the only Royal Caribbean cruise ship in port the week of this happened was Independence of the Seas. While unfortunate for Wenrich, the U.S. State Department has a warning on its website of the consequences of bringing ammunition into Turks and Caicos. While it is disconcerting that a cruise passenger is facing a 12-year prison sentence, The issue behind the arrest of the 31-year-old paramedic goes a little deeper. Cruise passengers typically fly to cruise ports where they encounter multiple luggage scans. Plus, when boarding the ship, the luggage is scanned again. None of these scans caught the ammunition in the luggage, something that security personnel are trained to spot. Michael Wenrich, father of Tyler Wenrich, stated that his son passed all the inspections. He boarded the airplane, went to Florida, got through security on the ship. When he left the ship to explore the island with his friends and came back, you go through security, and that's where they found 2 rounds in the bottom corner of his backpack. And they immediately took him into custody. Royal Caribbean has not yet responded to the incident, while TSA has admitted that the agency missed the bullets in the luggage. And this poor dupe could be doing 12 years from not being careful. Folks, take that as a hint. All right, again, this actually changed this morning. Royal Caribbean International, excuse me, last couple of days it's been scratchy. Royal Caribbean International has reached out to guests booked on May the 3rd sailing of Radiance to the Seas that it will embark as scheduled. Guests had been left hanging, not knowing whether the cruise would go or not go. Many cruise travelers prefer to arrive at an embarkation port a day or 2 ahead, or in the case of Tom, 3 to 9 days ahead. In case of flight delays or other traffic difficulties, some travelers also prefer to have some time in home port cities before boarding the cruise ship. The repairs are due to a technical issue to develop with the ship's propulsion system during its April 22nd cruise, a 4-night sailing repositioning from Los Angeles to Vancouver. Because the ship was unable to maintain top speeds, ports of call in Astoria and Victoria were canceled in order to bring the ship to Vancouver and allow extra time for repairs. Well, according to Royal Caribbean now, the repairs have been made and she's going to sail on the 3rd like she was supposed to. All right. An unidentified crew member, 35-year-old crew member, on Carnival Sunshine was taken to the hospital by a Coast Guard airlift. First responders from the U.S. Coast Guard met the Sunshine-class ship about 160 miles east of Jacksonville, while the ship was heading in the general direction of Port Canaveral. While details of the employee's condition have been kept private, qualified personnel on board decided their condition was serious enough to require urgent hospitalization. A helicopter could be seen hovering overhead as the crew member, along with a nurse, were hoisted on board. The pair were then safely transported to Home Regional Medical Center in Melbourne, Florida, for the employee to receive further treatment. Cruise around the world with the Will Model C2. That's the chair that I use. Our chairs will easily fit through accessible cabin doors and can navigate those tight spaces and crowded places. To see if Will may be right for you, click on the link below to schedule a test drive. Just tell them to use code CHILLIE for all your mobility needs. That's scootaroundstore.com. Absolutely adore my Will Model C2. Yes, I have issues on some excursions because it's not a fold-up chair. But as far as the stability of the chair, It's outstanding. All right. The last story of the day comes from AIDA. This summer, AIDA Cruises will offer live broadcasts of the official UEFA European Championship games happening in Germany from June 14th to July 14th. That's kind of like the World Cup, only this is not a World Cup year. Passengers on all AIDA cruise ships will have the opportunity to watch every minute of the matches, even while at sea, thanks to satellite technology. Football broadcasts will be shown on both the public screens throughout the ship and on cabin TVs. Now that's pretty cool for a major sporting event. Hats off to AIDA Cruises for that. How would you like to explore Ponta Delgada, Portugal with me for the first time? I've not been there before, but I'm going in January. So why not join me on a cruise with Chillie, Miami to Southampton transatlantic for 13 nights on the beautiful Norwegian Bliss. Sails January 4th from Miami to Southampton in England on the 17th. That's 13 night, folks. Prices start at $799. That's double occupancy, but you can't beat that. Of course, you got to add the taxes and port charges and anything else you want to it, but starting from $799. That's Cruise with Chillie, Miami to Southampton on January 4th. All right, guys. That's going to wrap up the news portion of today. Let's go see who's fussing at me over in the chat room. Steve's with us out in Kentucky. Hey, Steve. There's Hot Air Tom. Katie's with us. You're home in one day. Not quite. Not quite. That's 2.5 hours this morning. I tried, but yeah, no. I can't do that long anymore. I found out that was pushing it yesterday. So I don't know, it was probably 8.5 hours or something. And I just, I was done. I was cooked. Hi, Gretchen. Gretchen's with us out in Ohio. Chillie, hope you are well this morning. You got home got home in one day post. Steve says 10 days till our Alaska cruise on the Koningsdam. Man, Koningsdam's a wonderful ship, Steve. You guys will love that. Everybody says, Katie, have a good trip, Steve. This is also our very first cruise. So excited. Sound is Max Headroom style again. What does that mean? It's skipping, Tom? Damn it. I wonder why that is happening. I'll work on it. Is it really bad? I'll have to. Yes, it is glitching. Damn. Sorry, folks. That has to be the signal here in the house. It's not. I'm not getting the full signal in here. All right, tomorrow I'll try using my hotspot like I do on cruise ships. That seemed to work fine on cruise ships. Let's try that before I go to the expense of trying to run cable to bring the signal into the cave. Jamin's with us. Good morning, Jamin. Joanne's here. Todd's with us. Good morning, Todd. Hot Air says 3 to 9 days. Agree. Laugh out loud. What can I say? Amtrak is notoriously late. Don't want Amtrak to mess up a good vacay. Ah, that's funny, Hot Air Tom. Those bullets would not have made it through the security in Rome's airport. They had all three of my bags pulled apart to check items, even the extension cords. Wow. I was told to remove laptop. They didn't mention iPod, Kindle, or other electronic items. Yeah, they do that quite often where they just make you take the laptop out. And Katie says sound is good now. Okay, that's good. So it does a little glitchy thing. Try unplugging your modem and router for 5 minutes, plugging back in. Yeah, do that on a regular, but it's supposed to be done once a week. That's what the guy said when he put the new router, the new whatever he put in, new. But to go on and reboot it once a week. I will have to check to see if my brother-in-law is doing that. But yeah, thanks, Steve. Good idea. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I feel like there may be a nap involved. I've got so much work to do, so much catching up to do. It's going to take me several weeks to make up for this 5-day cruise that I was on. I'm telling you, I got videos coming out the wazoo to do. It's going to take some editing. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. All right, guys. I'll be back on normal schedule now for a while at least. Thank goodness. So I'll be back same time, same channel tomorrow. In the meantime, guys, stay safe. Oh, thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to do that. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider to do so. Well, nice little jump while we were away. So that's good. Yeah, we're growing. I saw where my friends Guga and Rob hit 100,000. They started from nothing, like 2 years ago. I got to find out what the hell they're doing that I'm not. So, yeah, I mean, they don't even do news or anything. They're just, just a social channel, a cruising social channel. And I love them to death. They're fun guys. But wow, I was just shocked to see that this morning. But congratulations to them. So, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon, man, we'll all get together on the high seas, just like Hot Air Tom and I are going to do here a bunch of times now. So, and I still got to come up with a cruise one of these days with Pittsburgh Jason since I canceled out on him. So, I'll have to check into his schedule. Chillie just needs a guy co-host, and the numbers will go up. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's it. So, all right, guys. You guys have a fantastic night, a day, whatever it is. I'm tired. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Y'all stay out of trouble. Bye, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.